Hello, and welcome back to the Cracking FAANG YouTube channel. Today we're going to be solving Leetcode problem 1868, product of two run-length encoded arrays. Usually I read the question prompt to you, but this one is an absolute mouthful and it is a massive wall of text, so I'm going to spare you that and you can just read it on Leetcode, or you can pause the video now and read it here. So I'm going to do that. Okay, you've now read the question prompt. Now it's time to solve the question. Remember that we're looking for the product of encoded 1 and encoded 2, which are the two run-length encoded arrays that we're given. And we should, note that our answer should be as compressed as possible and giving us the minimum possible length. So if we were given the numbers encoded 1, which is 1, 3, so 3 1s and then 3 2s, and we were given encoded 2, which is 3 6s and 3 3s, we should be returning, 6 6. And how did they do this? Well, we can do this the naive way, so we can write it out. So the encoded 1 would be 1 1 1, and then we know we have 2 of these, so 2 2 2. And then we're gonna have, okay, so we know we have 3 6s, so 6 6 6, and then we have 3 3s. So if we simply just do the multiplication, then we're gonna see that, okay, so we just multiply down each time, so we're gonna get 6 6 6, and then 3 times 2 3 times, so again we get 6 6 6, and we can encode this as simply saying 6 6s, which is how we got the solution. Okay, so doing it this way definitely works, but the problem is if you actually try to submit the solution on Leetcode, it's going to time out because this is the naive solution, and it's really bad because what you're doing is you're essentially spreading out both the encoded, so you have to create two new arrays, which are like the spread out version, and then you multiply it, and then you have to compress it. So you're wasting a lot of time and you're using a lot of space as well. So this is the naive solution and it's not going to work. Leetcode won't accept this, and if you try this in an interview, your interviewer is going to be like, okay, cool, you solved the problem, but you need to optimize because your solution sucks. So what we want to do is we want to solve this in a more efficient manner. So let's break this down into first principles and come up with an intuitive solution to this that's actually going to be the optimal one. So let's do that now. So we read the question prompt, which was quite long, and we went over an example, but I told you that this way that we did it in the example was the naive solution and it wouldn't be accepted, neither by Leetcode nor your interviewer. So we need to come up with a better solution. And the reason that the previous solution was bad, because we had to make one iteration through encoded 1 to expand it, we had to make one iteration through encoded 2 to expand it, then we had to calculate the product, and then we had to essentially compress it. So that's going to be 4 total iterations, which is really inefficient. What if I told you we could do it in just one pass through both encoded 1 and encoded 2? So it would just be a big O of n solution where we just have to pass over the lengths of these. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's think about this. Let's line these up. So we'll say 1 3, and we have 2 3 here, and then we're going to have 6 3, and we're going to have 3 3s. So this example is quite good because it works out very nicely. So what we can see here is that, notice that we're always given our values here in the format of value and then frequency. So what we notice is that actually these first elements, they both have 3 frequency, which means that we can simply just take the product of the values and we'll have 3 of those in a row. So we'd get 6 6 6, which we can have 6 6 6, and we can compress this down to 6 3, right? Now what we can do is we go to the next thing here and we notice that the frequencies match again. So what we want to do is again multiply the values down. So it's going to be 6 3 again. But notice that now the two values in our solution here are actually the same. So instead of just having 6 3 6 3, we actually just want to increase the count, the frequency of the 6 by adding 3 and 3. So we get 6. So that way we did it in one iteration. But remember that I told you that this solution was quite naive, well, quite simple, because we had this lineup here. what happens when they don't line up? Right, so let's look at another example where those ones aren't going to line up. So let's go with the test case here, and let me type it out. So we'll have 1, 3, we'll have 2, 1, and we will have 3, 2. Sorry, I'm just looking at the Leetcode solution, and then we are looking at 2, 3 here for encoded 2, and we're looking at 3, 3. So obviously we need to now multiply these two arrays. But notice that, the lineup isn't going to be convenient. So for this part, these, frequencies match, so we can still do that multiplication. So let's do that. So obviously we're going to multiply 2 by 1, and we're going to have 3 of those. So this part is nice because they line up. But what about here, where we only have 1, and, the 3 has 3 of them? How is that going to work? Well, what this would look like, if we spread out this array, we'd have 1, 2, and then we have 2 3s. So we have 3, 3, and then here we have 3 3s. So that's what it would look like if it was spread out. But, what are we going to do here? Well, we can only multiply 3 by 2 once because, we can't do it multiple times because we only have 1, 2 available to us, right? So what we need to do is we need to do the multiplication. So we're still going to multiply 3 by 2, and we're going to have one of those, except now what's going to happen is that we still have some 3s left over. We fully exhausted this 2 here, but we still have 3s to process, right? So what we can do is we want to still be working with this 3, 3 here, except now it's not going to be 3, 3. We can think about it as being 3, 2. So now what we can do is we can continue on the top array, and then we can do the same thing that we just did earlier and multiply down. Now we notice that 2 and 2 match, so we can simply do the multiplication. So we're going to get 3 times 3, so 9, and then remember the frequencies match, so we have 2. So that's going to be our final encoded solution. So the algorithm that we want to do here, if you didn't already catch on to it, is that basically, we want to have an I pointer and a J pointer, which is going to I is going to represent the first array, and J is going to be for the, second array here. And what we want to do with this is we want to extract the value at I. So we're going to say val of I, and then the frequency of I at any, I, and then we'll have, the val for J, and we'll have the, frequency of J at any point. Now, if the frequencies match, then we can simply multiply the values, add that to our kind of solution. So, it'll be val1 times, val, I guess, J, and then whatever the frequency was, because we had that many. That's if frequency 1 equals to frequency 2. If they don't match, then we still want to multiply them, but we want to take the minimum of whatever, F1 and F2 is. And we're going to add that to our solution. And remember, we have to be careful if the product that we got is actually equal to the previous product that's already in our solution, then we just want to increment the frequency for that product by whatever this minimum frequency is, instead of just adding a new one, right? Because we wouldn't want something like 6.2 and then we add like, 6.2 again. We should simply write 6.4 because obviously that's more compressed. So that's the reason why we want to be adding it if the product here matches whatever the previous one was. So we do that, and now we need to move up our I and J pointers, right? What's going to happen? So if they're equal, where we use all of the available, frequencies from both of them, then I and J are both going to move up by 1, right? Because we've exhausted, both of these when they're equal. If one is greater than the other, in this case, what we want to do is we want to move the one that was fully exhausted. So here, remember, we used the 1, 2, and then this was exhausted. So that way we'd need to move the I up to here, and the J would still stay the same. But we need to decrement the frequency of, the element at whatever at the J pointer is by whatever, the minimum of these two was. So here it was 1, so we do 3 minus 1, so now it would be 2. So we still have 2 3s left to work with. And then now we can continue making those comparisons. and we're going to do that until we process the entirety of the array. So that's essentially how we want to solve this problem. It is a little bit confusing when we're at the drawing board, but when we actually go to the code editor, I'll walk through everything line by line, and it's going to be super simple. You're going to get how to do it. It makes a ton of sense on how to move our pointers up, how to do the products, why we add things. So let's go to the code editor, and hopefully everything's going to be much, much clearer. Okay, we're back in the editor. Let's write the code for this problem. Remember that we're going to be using 2 pointers to basically walk through our encoded 1 and encoded 2 arrays. So let's define those. So we're going to say I equals 0 and then j equals 0. And we're going to need some sort of result array to store the product here. So let's define that as res is going to be an empty list. So now remember, we need to walk through our arrays, and we're going to do that using a while loop. So we're going to say while I is less than the length of encoded 1 and j is less than encoded, length of encoded 2, we need to do some processing. So let's extract the values at each index. So we're going to say value 1, frequency 1 is going to be encoded 1 of I, and we're going to say value 2, frequency 2 is going to be encoded 2 of j. Great. So the product at this point is going to be equal to value 1 times value 2, and the frequency here is going to be the minimum of whatever frequency 1 and frequency 2 is, right? Because we can only multiply as much as we have available to us. We can't go over if one is bigger than the other. We have to use the minimum here. So now what we need to do is add this to our solution. And remember, either we have, no solution so far, in which case we just put whatever the product is and the frequency that we're working with, or we have the case where, we have a product in our result and we can check, does the product that we just computed equal to, the last element in our solution? We need to check, because if it's the same, we simply just want to increment the frequency of the last product that we computed and stored, as opposed to adding it again, right? Because this is the case, if we had like 6.3 and then it was like 6.2, we obviously don't want to store those separately. We would want to store that as 6.5. So what we're going to do is we're going to say if not res, so if we haven't computed anything yet, so our result is empty, or our product does not equal to, the last product that we computed, so res minus 1 of 0, and remember the 0th index represents the value and the frequency is going to be the second element. So if the products don't match, then we simply want to append what our current product is. So we're going to append, product and the frequency. So otherwise, this means that, we have a match. So we want to say res minus 1, so the last element we computed, and its frequency, we just want to increment it by whatever the current frequency is. So we do that. Now what we want to do is we want to decrement the frequency for that current I by whatever the frequency is that we just took, right? So we do that for both of the arrays to basically bring them down frequency-wise to make sure that, we've only used what we computed here with using frequency. Now what we need to do is basically, if we've exhausted the total frequency for that, given I or j index, then we need to move I and j up. So what we're going to say is if frequency 1, which what we extracted earlier, actually equals to frequency, this means that we used up the entirety of frequency when we did our computation. So we can move our I or j up. In this case, it's I because we're working with frequency 1. So we're going to say it plus equals to 1. And we can do the same thing for j. So we're going to say if frequency 2 actually equals to frequency, then we want to move the j up. And we're going to do that for all iterations of, this while loop. And at the end, we can simply return our result. So let's submit this and check that it works. And it should take a little bit of time. Okay, cool. So it does work. And that's the solution to this problem. Now, let's think about the time and space complexity of this algorithm. Okay, so we just solved the problem and submitted it. We saw that it works. Now let's think about the time and the space complexity. Well, for the time, what we're gonna have to do is we have to traverse over both encoded 1 and encoded 2. If we say that encoded 1 has n elements, it's gonna take big O of n time to traverse the entirety of encoded 1. If we say that encoded 2 has m elements, then it's going to take big O of m time to traverse that. So in total, our time complexity is going to be big O of n plus m. And for the space, our complexity is going to be big O of n plus m as well, because what we have to do is, combine the product of encoded 1 and encoded 2. And in the worst case, it would be, our result would be the length of big O of n plus m. So basically all the elements from encoded 1 and encoded 2. So they would be separate here. So we would, just have big O of n plus m on the space complexity to actually store this result here. So that's your time and space complexity for this problem. If you enjoyed my solution, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If there's any videos that you'd like me to make, please just comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you want to see, and I'd be happy to make those videos for you. Otherwise, happy coding.